We are live from here, and we are about to embark on a NFL mock draft show. Let me really quickly tweet that out. As promised, a full first-round mock is coming to you guys here at about 4:50 on the East Coast, just after 4:50. And here we are about to, and I at least about to tell you where I think players are going to land in the NFL draft, which in just over 24 hours will be commencing from Dallas, Texas, from AT&T Stadium in Arlington, and where we will see these picks and what's going to happen with them there. Let me just really quickly tweet out my show. And okay, we're ready. We're ready for the mock draft show. All right. So the Cleveland Browns, who went 0-16 in 2017, pick first. Their number one need is a quarterback. It always seems to be a quarterback. And we can think of the number of quarterbacks that have gone through there that have failed. From Tim Couch back at the franchise's re-inception in '99, all the way to most recently DeShone Kizer, who is obviously wasn't the answer to their quarterback problems. This year has a very strong quarterback class, but there is one man at the top who I think will be drafted first overall. Sam Darnold, USC, will go first overall to the Cleveland Browns. Why? Well, Sam Darnold is the most NFL ready. 6'3", 220. He is one of the better quarterback prospects I have. I know a lot of experts have pegged him as a Pro Bowl caliber player. He is a big dude, 6'3", 221, that perfect quarterback size. He has done well in the NFL to do what he needs to. Well, he's done well in college to propel himself to the number one prospect on most people's boards. Now, I know there's a lot of people saying Baker Mayfield. I don't like him. On the football field, undersized, a low completion percentage compared to Darnold, and then some of the potential attitude problems that come with him. Josh Allen, I like a lot. I'm just not sure how his personality would do in Cleveland, especially if it's going to be rebuilding. And I think Rosen would blossom somewhere else. He just wouldn't really blossom in Cleveland. So I think that Sam Darnold, low end, kind of an Andrew Luck, high end Brett Favre type player, he is that good. And I think obviously you're going to see a lot of people that are interested in that. So Sam Darnold is my number one selection to the Cleveland Browns. All right. Number two, the New York Football Giants will select Saquon Barkley, running back out of Penn State. Regarded by many as the best player in the draft, I have my questions. For one, I think it's a running back deep draft. I think what's his upside compared to some of the other running backs? But I think the Giants have shown that they want to build around Eli Manning for these next couple of years, for Eli Manning's last couple of years, presumably. And they are not interested in rebuilding and building around a quarterback. So I think Saquon Barkley will go number 2 to the New York Football Giants. He's 5'11", 200 pounds. Or sorry, 6 foot, 233 pounds, out of Penn State University, and looks certainly like he could go far. According to NFL.com, they grade him as a 7.45, a Pro Bowl caliber player. He ran a 4.4 at the 40-yard dash time. And he is somebody who could be at his best like a Hall of Famer, Barry Sanders. That's at least what a lot of people are saying for the his top echelon, which would certainly be worth number 2 pick. But again, I have questions. In some of the bigger games of his career, he averaged under 3 yards a game. There are some questions with him, but I think he has a good attitude. I think he's a good kid. But again, I'm more of a quarterback guy in the first round, just on value of how long they play, because even the best running backs, tops, are lasting 8 seasons. The best quarterbacks, they're with you at least 10, 15 years. And some like Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees have had close to 20-year careers and are still dominating in the NFL. Number 3, the Jets, Jets. This will be the second quarterback to go, and I am predicting that Darnold's rival from UCLA, Josh Rosen, will go number 3 overall. Josh Rosen is talented. He's a big city kind of personality. He's controversial a bit for his opinions, but he's a heck of a football player, a heck of a competitor. And I think he's an answer to a lot of the Jets fans' needs at quarterback. The Jets, much like the Browns, have had a pretty poor quarterback history, particularly these last few seasons. When your best quarterback the last few years is Ryan Fitzpatrick, you're not a very good team. And he is Josh Rosen, 6'4", 226 pounds. It's funny because on the tapes he seems so much smaller than Darnold. According to NFL.com, he is an instant starter, a grade of 6.19. And he is a heck of an athlete. From UCLA, Josh Rosen will go number 3 to the New York Jets. He's smart. And I saw him yesterday on the Herd, and he was kind of doing a media roundabout yesterday. And one of those stops is on Colin Cowherd's show. He seems like a very smart kid. His strength as a tennis prodigy, he has great footwork. He plays with excellent coordination. He does great on getting his head around quickly for the play fakes. Experience. He's a pocket passer. Those are just some of his strengths. I would worry a bit about his durability and his poor mobility. I think he's somebody, though, who has a lot of talent. And so I see Josh Rosen going number 3. Number 4, the Cleveland Browns have another pick. And I know there's some rumors they might trade that pick. I don't see that happening. Number 4, Denzel Ward, a cornerback, a defensive back out of the University of Ohio State. Denzel Ward is rated as an instant starter, 5'11", 183 pounds. He is, and I'm not looking at NFL.com, and I'm not based. The reason is I took their draft thing with, they have a predict the pick, and that was my easiest way of getting my information down and saved. And then I kind of like their projections as well. He'd be compared to a guy like Chris Harris in Denver. So I see him going number 4 to the Browns. So now they have a defensive back covered, and they have quarterback covered in the first 4 picks. Number 5 is Quentin Nelson. He will go to the Broncos. He's an offensive lineman out of Notre Dame. Built like a bank safe is the NFL.com overview, with wide hips, broad chest, and powerful limbs. 6'5", 329 pounds. He is somebody who I can see having a very successful career. He's a Jersey native from Holmdel, New Jersey, and he is graded as a Pro Bowl caliber player compared to Larry Allen, according to NFL.com, who project him like I do in the top 10 pick. So I see Quentin Nelson going to the Broncos. Number 6, the Colts will select defensive lineman Bradley Chubb out of the NC State University. Bradley Chubb, some people see him as one of the top picks, maybe like 2 in terms of NFL-ready talent to Saquon Barkley. Some people see him as the top defensive player in this draft. And he answers a need of the Colts, which is along that defensive line. And to me, as he weighs in, his height weight is 6'4", 269 pounds. NFL.com ranks him as a Pro Bowl caliber player compared to Super Bowl champion Chris Long. That's his NFL comparison. So certainly some high praise for Bradley Chubb on the defensive line, being compared to such a great player like Chris Long. Number 7 is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I have them picking a defensive lineman here as well. De'Aaron Payne is 6'2", 311 pounds out of Alabama. Payne is described by NFL.com. I love some of these descriptions. Built like a wall of granite with exceptional lean muscle mass. Tremendous natural strength. You get those kind of compliments. He has the physical gifts there, and he's graded as a good chance to become a Pro Bowl caliber player by NFL.com's rankings. And his strengths far outweigh his weaknesses. I'm looking at all these bullet points, all these strengths that scouts have shown that he has, and he certainly seems like a great player. He's compared to Brandon Williams, so I think a very interesting pick that the Buccaneers can make here. Number 8, the Chicago Bears. Linebacker Tremaine Edmonds out of the University of Virginia Tech. 6'5", 253 pounds. He has long limbs and a rangy frame, and he is the kind of player that you would like to see up on your line at the linebacker position. Pro Bowl caliber player, according to NFL.com. He is compared to a future Hall of Famer, Brian Urlacher. Certainly very high praise for Tremaine Edmunds. And I have him going 8th to the Chicago Bears. 9th, I have another defensive player. So I have a run on defensive players from basically 4 till 10. And at number 9, I have Vita Vea, a defensive lineman out of Washington, going to the San Francisco 49ers. They have the quarterback solved with Garoppolo. So they are going to go on defense here, and they are going to get him an excellent player in Vita Vea. And Vea on thick hips, powerful upper body. He's, you know, you want these descriptors for a player on your line, and a guy who you know, he has issues, but they all can be corrected according to NFL.com scouts, and he is compared to a very excellent player, Haloti Ngata. I think that's what you get when you get Vita Vea. You get kind of this Haloti Ngata type player there. Then number 10, I have another defensive back. I have national champion Minkah Fitzpatrick, defensive back out of Alabama. He is 6'1" and 201 pounds. He shows up big in the biggest events. He is another New Jersey native from Old Bridge, New Jersey, up by New York. And he has been compared to Antrel Roll in terms of his NFL comps. I do like Minkah Fitzpatrick, number 10. So my 1 through 10, Sam Darnold, QB, USC Browns. 2, New York Giants, Saquon Barkley, Penn State. 3, New York Jets, Josh Rosen, quarterback, UCLA. 4, Denzel Ward, cornerback, Cleveland Browns. 5, Quentin Nelson, defensive lineman offensive lineman out of Notre Dame. Number 6, Bradley Chubb, defensive lineman out of NC State, goes to the Colts. Number 7, Buccaneers, De'Aaron Payne, defensive lineman out of Alabama. Number 8, Tremaine Edmunds, linebacker out of Virginia Tech. Number 9, Vita Vea, defensive lineman out of Washington. And number 10, Minkah Fitzpatrick, a corner out of Alabama. Number 11, Miami. And this is where you'll see the next quarterback go. And I am predicting that they're going to go with Lamar Jackson, quarterback out of Louisville. I think he fits into their scheme pretty well. I think he's somebody that would do well in Miami. There are some concerns with his completion percentage in college, but he is a good chance to become a NFL starter. And he is from the Miami area. He's from Pompano Beach originally. So it'd certainly be interesting to see where he goes. And he's been compared to a great future Hall of Famer in Michael Vick. And I think if he lives up to that, he could be the answer to a quarterback for Miami, because Tannehill has been disappointing and obviously was injured last year. Number 12, I have another quarterback going, and it's going to be Josh Allen out of Wyoming, going to the Buffalo Bills. So I have 2 quarterbacks going back-to-back. Josh Allen, a lot of people seem to like him. He is he wouldn't mind in the cold. He is from California, but from Northern California. Wyoming, it's pretty poor weather year-round. You're playing in the Mountain West. You change your playing things like at Colorado, at New Mexico, obviously in Wyoming, places that can get cold. I kind of like him. He is compared, unfortunately, to NFL.com Jake Locker. I might compare him a bit to Carson Wentz, a guy who was unheralded coming into college, but blossoms well and turns into a great NFL player. So I think low end, Jake Locker, a bit of a bust. High end, Carson Wentz, who's already carving out a great career for himself. Number 13 to the Washington Redskins, Roquan Smith. He is a linebacker out of Georgia. And Smith, who switched from wide receiver to linebacker coming into college, looks like a Pro Bowler to me. He has been compared to Deion Jones, and will most likely be around one guy, and I see him going 13 overall to the Redskins. Number 14, the Green Bay Packers. They need a wide receiver, and I see him going with Calvin Ridley, a wide receiver out of Alabama. I do like Ridley. He is a bit undersized at just 6 foot and 189 pounds. So I think he's a good slot guy there. But Rodgers wants targets, and he certainly could be a great target for him in Green Bay. A 4.43 40-yard dash time, and he is compared to future Hall of Famer Marvin Harrison. I believe is in the Hall of Fame there. And then number 15, this is where I see the next quarterback going. Baker Mayfield, Arizona Cardinals. Baker Mayfield, a lot of controversy with him. Some say he's the next Johnny Manziel. Others say he has the chance to be a great Hall of Fame type player. So I see him going to the Arizona Cardinals at 15. So number 15, I see Baker Mayfield, who should, according to NFL.com, be an instant starter. And he is compared to Doug Flutie in terms of his NFL comparisons. Number 16, the Baltimore Ravens have this selection, and I have them picking Leighton Vander Esch, a linebacker out of Boise State. It's big, long, and athletic at 6'4" and 256 pounds. So I see him going on. He's a former two-sport star, and I see him going 16. I'm going to speed it up a bit here. Leighton Vander Esch, by the way, has been said that he looks like an instant starter, according to NFL.com, and he could be. The one concern with him is health. But if you look at an NFL comparison, he could be compared to Carlos Stansby, at least the early version of Carlos Stansby. So that is who I have going 16 to the Baltimore Ravens. 17, the Los Angeles Chargers. And we don't know how much longer Phillip Rivers has left in his career. So I think they're going to go quarterback. And I like Mason Rudolph out of Oklahoma State. Mason Rudolph might be the most underrated quarterback in this draft class, compared to even Baker Mayfield, his in-state rival, not getting a whole lot of attention from the draft boards. But I do like Mason Rudolph because, again, Rivers has a few years left. And so, you don't need him to become the starter right away. his good quarterback size at 6'5", 235. And I see him doing very well in the NFL. Now, his NFL comparison is, and his production is going to NFL come rounds 2 or 3. But I think the Chargers will make that quarterback selection, and they will go with Mason Rudolph. I have I have a corner this time out of Iowa, going 18th, the Seattle Seahawks. So obviously the Seahawks just saw Richard Sherman depart, but Josh Jackson's an excellent corner. He had a very successful college career, obviously, with 27 passes defensed, 8 interceptions. He is somebody who could do very, very well in the NFL. And the NFL grades him, NFL.com grades him as a 6, that chance to become an instant starter in this league. 4.56 40-yard dash. And he is compared to one of the best corners in the game today in Josh Norman. All right, number 19, the Dallas Cowboys. This year's draft hosts will select Rashaan Evans out of Alabama, linebacker. I do like him a lot. 6'3", 234 pounds. And so that's who I see going to the Dallas Cowboys. Number 20, Darius Geese, a running back out of LSU. I see going to the Detroit Lions. Number 21, pick 21. I've kind of decided to go through these a little bit more quickly. Orlando Brown, an offensive lineman out of Oklahoma. So I see him going 21 to the Cincinnati Bengals. Number 22, Buffalo Bills have another selection. I see him getting DJ Chark. He is a 6'3", 199-pound wideout out of LSU. A great combination of size and speed with Chark. The New England Patriots going with Deon Cain, Clemson, and a wideout there. Although I wouldn't be surprised if they trade away their first-round pick as well. Number 24, I have Tavon Bryan, a defensive lineman out of Florida, going to the Carolina Panthers. Number 25, I have a defensive lineman, East Hurst, coming out of Michigan. Disruptive initial quickness. That's what I like about him. And then that's what was it? Was that DJ Moore going 26? He's a wide receiver out of Maryland. I see him going 26 to the Falcons. 27th, I see another quarterback falling off the draft. That's Luke Falk, a quarterback out of Washington State, going to the Saints. Again, a situation where he could sit behind a great in Drew Brees and learn and not have to start right away. Derwin James, safety out of Florida State. I see him going 28 to the Steelers. Will Hernandez, a offensive lineman out of UTEP, one of my favorite offensive linemen in this draft. I see him going to the 29th to the Jaguars, who need some protection for Bortles. 30, the Minnesota Vikings, Isaiah Wynn, an offensive lineman out of Georgia. The Patriots select again at 31. And I see him getting a quarterback at this pick, Riley Ferguson out of Memphis. And at 32, the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles need to replace Ajayi. And I see him getting Sony Michel, a running back out of Georgia. So those are my selections. Thank you, everyone, for watching the Mock Draft Show. Enjoy the draft tomorrow. I'll try and be back next week with a draft breakdown as well as NBA and NHL playoffs. Have a good one. Oh, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter at JMoney18C and subscribe to me here on YouTube.